So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial video, I will show you how to create a registration and login system with PHP and MySQL. Here is the quick solution to build a login system with PHP and MySQL. Nowadays, almost every website provides registration and login functionality. Thus, it is necessary to add a login system in modern web application. In this tutorial, we walk through the complete process of creating a user registration system. Users can create an account by providing username, password, and email. After the account was created, the user can log in to their own account. Once the user login, it will be redirected to the dashboard page. Moreover, the user can log out from his panel. This whole system we are developed using PHP and MySQL. Furthermore, we will show you how to build secure pages that are only accessed by logged in users. Without login, the user cannot access the page. So, if till now you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. So without wasting the time, let's start creating our registration and login system with PHP and MySQL. So I need to provide you a small notice in my before live stream, as I have completed on how to create a full stack Amazon clone with React.js. The source code of it will be provided in my GitHub repository, and the link will be provided in my description below. You can just go there and access it. And the source code for this login and registration system with PHP and MySQL source code will also be provided in my GitHub repo. Yes guys. And if you need to see the live demo what we are going to be creating in this video, I'm not going to show you first. At the end of my video, the time lapse will be provided in the description below. You can just go there and see the demo of this project, and then you can just start building it if you like the demo. Great. So let's start. So let me just switch back to my live screen over here. Awesome, that's great. So now I have opened my VS Code editor. So the thing that you need to remember over here is that now we're just going to deal with the database, of course. So we need to create our file in our XAMPP htdocs folder and start our Apache and MySQL in our XAMPP control panel, as I have started it already, which you can see over here. Great. Awesome. So now let's open our project in our code editor. So as I'm using my VS Code editor, I will open my folder over here. And my folder is there inside my XAMPP htdocs folder. My folder name is named as login-tutorial. I'm just gonna select it, and I have selected it already, as you can see over here. Awesome. So what we are going to be doing over here to create our registration and login system with PHP and MySQL. Here are 7 pretty simple steps you have to follow to create a login system. Create a database and database table. You need to connect to the database. Create a session for logged in users. Create a registration and login form. Make a dashboard page. Create a logout destroy session. And the last thing is that just create a CSS file for styling your login and registration form and the dashboard page. It's that simple that we will be doing in this tutorial video. It's going to be the long tutorial video, but it's going to be really helpful for you all guys to learn how to create a login and registration form with PHP and MySQL. Alright guys, so first we are just gonna start by creating our database table. So here's my localhost PHP, my admin. Just open this page after starting your Apache and MySQL server, and then you need to click on this new button over here to create a fresh database for you. And now you can provide your database a name that you would like to provide. So I would like to provide it login system, and then you need to click on create. So it is saying it can't create, but it created it. Great. So now the number of columns that you would like to provide, I would like to provide 5 number of columns, and the name for my table is going to be users. And now you need to click on this go button to create a table in your database. Awesome. After that, define the name of your columns in your table. So great. So the first one is going to be the ID. It's going to be the interior, the length and the value is by default, and just select this AI, that is going to be auto increment. Great. And the second one is going to be for our username. Third one is going to be for our email address. Fourth one is going to be for our password. And the fifth one is going to be for creating our date and time when the user have created his account. So create underscore date and time. And now let's change its type. Username is going to be the worker. Email is also going to be worker. Password is also going to be worker. And create date and time is going to be date time. Now let me just select the length and values for my username. It's going to be 50. Email address length and value is also going to be 50. Password one is also going to be 50. That's it. Now you need to scroll down and you need to click on the save button. Now your table will be created successfully in your database. As you can see, my table is created. That's it for creating the database in PHP MyAdmin. Awesome. We are all set. Now let's connect our database, that means our code, to our database. So let's open our VS Code editor. So here's my VS Code editor, and now you need to create a new file. Name your file as db.php. This file is going to contain all of the code to connect with your database that you have created in your localhost PHP MyAdmin. Awesome. So now I'm just gonna zoom in a bit so it will be really helpful for you all guys to understand what I'm gonna write and easily see it if you are using a mobile device just to watch the tutorial video. So now first start your PHP tag, and now you can close your PHP tag. So I'm not having my PHP extension installed over here, so if you're having it, that's great. So let me zoom it again. Great. So now first you need to enter your host name. Second, you need to enter your database username, password, and your database name. So first create a variable over here. I'm going to create a variable named as $con. That means connect. That equals to, we will be using the MySQL I underscore connect method over here. This method is going to take first the host name, that is our local host. Second, it's going to take the username, that means your database username, that was root. And third one is going to ask for the database password. So I have not set it up, so I'm just going to keep it as an empty string. If you have created a password for your database, you can set it up over here. And the third one is going to be our database name. Sorry, I apologize. Let me just close this filter keys. Now let's enter our database name, and the database name was login system. Awesome. Now let's check the connection, whether it has successfully connected to our database or not. So for doing that, we are going to be using the if statement, and we're going to write if MySQL I underscore connect underscore error no. So if MySQL I underscore connect error no, that means if it is not connected, if it is true, I would like to just echo failed to connect to MySQL. That is our database. So I'm just going to be adding a column and even like to display the error that we got while connecting to our database. So I will be using the concatenate operator by using this full stop, and then use the MySQL I underscore connect underscore error method over here to display the whole error that we got while connecting to our database. That's it. So this is the code that we need to write to connect to our database. So now let's create a session for logged in users. I mean to say, if the user have created his account, or if the user have logged into his account, so just redirect the user to the dashboard page. If the user have not created his account and trying to log in, just redirect the user to the login page. So for that, just create a new file over here and name that file as authentication underscore session.php file. And in this file, just write a basic PHP code. And in this, you need to select the session underscore start. what is this session start method gonna do? The session start method is gonna get all of the details like whether the username is there or not. You will get to know what is this auth_session.php file is doing over here when we will be working with our login functionality. And now we are just gonna say if it is not set, I would like to select $_my_session, square bracket, single quotes, I'm gonna select my username first of all. If my username is not set, I would like to redirect the user to the login page. So header, location column, and the URL, that means my login page, login.php. And after that, I'm just gonna exit this function by using this exit method over here. Great, let me save it. Awesome. So we are going in a correct track. So what is happening over here, I will explain you. So I just starting my session over here, and I'm saying if I'm selecting my username's input. If the username is not there in my database, I will redirect the user back to the login page. Got it? Yeah, it's that simple. Awesome. So now we have written the code for connecting to our database, and we have written the code for creating a session for our logged in users. So now let's come to the main part by creating a registration form. Yes guys, now we are just gonna work on how to create a registration form. So for doing that, just create a new file and name your file as registration.php. This file is gonna contain all of the code for your registration form and its functionality. Great. So let me just write a basic HTML template code over here, and let me change its title to register here. And now even you can just change its title or CSS file as you like. So I would be like to create a CSS file for styling my registration and my login form. So link rel, which is going to be style sheet, and the href, I would like to provide a href that is going to be my CSS folder. I'm going to be having my CSS file located over here, so it will be really easy for you all guys to understand which file is doing what. Like the database file is having the connectivity to our database. Auth_session file is having all of the authentication for our logged in users. Registration file is going to be for our registration form. Am I right guys? Yes. So now let's start by creating our beautiful and amazing registration form structure. So let's create a form over here. Provide that form a class that is going to be form for styling it in our CSS file, and our action for our form is going to be empty. And now the method that we will be using over here for registering the user is going to be the post method. So what is the difference between get and post method? I will explain you. So the post method is gonna send your details to the database without displaying it anywhere. But if you're using the get method, it's gonna display all of your details that you have entered in the input in your Chrome URL. Great. So after inside this form, I would like to display a heading for registration form, which is going to be having a class name of login-title, and I would like to display register here as a text. And after the h1 tag, I would like to display all of the inputs for my registration form. So the first input is going to be having a type of text, which is going to be having a class name of login-input. Now let me enter a name for it, that is going to be username. And now let me enter a placeholder that is going to be username in simple words. And this input is going to be required. So why we are entering this required keyword over here? So what is this required keyword gonna do? So if the user is not entering his username while registering or while creating his account, we will say, or we will show an alert that enter your username. It's that simple to add a validation in your registration form. Create a second input for email address, which type is going to be text. Class is going to be login-input, and the name I'm going to provide it, that is going to be email for accessing it when I will be working with my PHP code. And after that, I would like to provide a placeholder to it, that is going to be email address. And now let me create my third input for my password, which is going to be having a class of login-input, name of password, placeholder is going to be password in simple words. Now let me create an input for my register button, which is going to be having a type of submit because it is going to be a button. Name is also going to be submit, and the value for this button is going to be register. Now let me add a class to it. So what is the class that I'm going to provide? It is going to be login-button for styling it in our CSS file. Awesome. Now let me create a paragraph. If the user have already created his account, the user can click on this paragraph and the user will be redirected to the login page. A paragraph which is going to be having a class of link. Inside this paragraph we are going to be having an anchor tag which is going to be having an href which is going to redirect the user to the login page. And I would like to display a text that is going to be login. Great. So if you already have an account, you can just click on this login and you will be redirected to the login page. Awesome. That's really simple. So let me create a CSS file for styling our registration form. So I'm going to create a new folder, name it as CSS, which is going to have all of my CSS files included in this directory. Create a new file and I'm going to name this file as style.css. So I'm having my CSS code over here, so I'm just going to copy it and paste it over here. And if you need directly, you can just download the source code and you can even copy the CSS from the source code. It's that simple. So let me see where's the code. Okay, so I just got a code over here. I'm just going to paste it inside my CSS file. Boom guys, and now I'm just going to press Ctrl+S to save it in Windows and Command+S to save it in Mac. So now let's run our registration.php file live. So for doing that, I would like to open my browser over here, open a new tab, write localhost / and now you need to write your directory name. So my directory name was login-tutorial / registration.php file. When I just do that, as you can see over here, it is displaying me the beautiful registration form with 3 inputs: username, email address and password with a registration button. And if you are having already an account, you can just click on this beautiful login text over here and then you will be redirected to the login page. Great. So awesome. So let's start adding the functionality to our registration form. So now I can just close my CSS file. And even I'm gonna close my sidebar so it will be really easy for you all guys to see the code what I'm doing over here. So my code is being hidden at the back of my face cam. So let me just make it a bit smaller. That will also be really easy for you to read. Am I right guys? Yes. So for writing the PHP code for the registration functionality, just after the body tag, start your PHP code syntax over here. Inside this PHP syntax, we are going to be having the whole of the code for adding or for registering the user. So first thing that we are going to be doing over here is that we are going to be requiring our database file db.php, that is going to be our database connectivity file. And after that, we are going to be writing the code. When our form is submitted, we need to insert the values into the database. So for that, we are going to be having this if else statement over here. We are going to say if is set $_request square brackets in the single quotes. I'm just going to select my first input name, that is username. If it is true, I would like to execute this code. So the first thing I would like to do is from all of the input value is that remove the backslashes. So for doing that, I'm going to create a username variable for my username input that equals to, I will be using this strip slashes method over here, and in that I will be using the $request square brackets, single quotes, and now I'm going to be entering the name of my input, that is username. After doing this, I would like to escape this special character in a string. So for doing that, I would like to even create same variable name, that is username, that equals to, we'll be using the MySQL underscore real underscore escape underscore string method over here. In this, we will be entering the variable for our connectivity, that was $con, comma, we are just going to enter our username variable in it. Same thing we are going to be doing with our email address and our password. So for doing it easily, what I'm going to do over here is that I'm just going to copy it, paste it for my email address and paste it for my password. Am I right, guys? Now let me change its value. For my email address. And third one is going to be for our password. That's it. After removing the backslashes and after escaping the special character in your input's value, now we can just create our date and time when the user have registered his account. So create a variable named as create date time over here, that equals to, use the date method to create date and time. Inside this, you're going to be having the double quotes, Y is for year, M for month, D for days. Now we need to like to display the time, H for hour, I for minute, and S for seconds. That's it. It's that simple. After doing that, we are going to be creating a variable that is going to be named as query. In this, we are going to be having the MySQL query for inserting the user's data in our database. So for that, inside this variable, just have a double quotes and write this code that is going to be insert into, and now you need to enter your table's name. So what was your database table's name? That was users. And then inside this, we're going to be having this beautiful parenthesis for our table columns, username, password, email, and our create underscore date and time. That's it. So it's really simple, so you need to understand it nicely. Okay, so I will explain you. I'm writing this MySQL query for inserting my users written data in my input, that means their value in our database. So I'm saying them to insert these values in my users table in these columns, username, password, email, and create date and time. So after this parenthesis ends over here, just the values that we would like to insert. Inside a single quotes, you need to define it. Username, then $password, that is its variable's name in which we are storing our inputs value. Then we are going to be having the email address, and the last one is going to be $create underscore date and time. It's that simple. That's it. Now you can just end it with a semicolon. You are all set. So now we are going to be having a result that is going to be inserting our query into a database. I mean to say it's going to run our query. So for that, just create a variable named as result over here, that equals to, you need to use this MySQL underscore query method over here. So remember to use this MySQL underscore query method over here, and inside that, first you need to connect to your database, and then I would like to run this query. So I will be entering my query variable over here. Awesome. So now we will be having the if and else statement. If statement is going to say if the user's account is created successfully, we would like to display that you are registered successfully. If it is not created, we would like to display that required fields are missing. So for doing this, we are going to be using the if and else statements. So in if, I would like to say if my $result is true, I would like to execute this code. In this code, I would like to be having echo, then I would like to have this double quotes in which I would like to create a div which is going to be having a class of form for styling it easily in our CSS file, and in this I would like to be having a h3 tag that will display us required, you are registered successfully. Great. And now I'm just gonna close my h3 tag over here. After that I would like to have a line break, so I will be using the br tag. And then I would like to display a p tag which is going to be having a class of link. And it will display us click here to. Great. And after that we're going to be having an anchor tag which is gonna redirect the user back to the login page. So click here to an anchor tag href that equals to a single quotes. In this I would like to enter my login.php file name, and then my anchor tag would be closed and I would like to display a text that is going to be for login. Let me close my anchor tag and close my paragraph tag, and after doing that I would like to even close my div tag. Awesome. So now we are all set, and I'm just gonna end it with a semicolon. Am I right, guys? Yes. So if the user's account is created successfully, I would like to echo this div. If it is not, I would like to have this else statement over here, and it would like to echo something else. So I'm just gonna select this echo statement over here, copy it and paste it inside my else keyword over here. So you are registered successfully. I would like to change this text to required fields are missing. And when the user clicks over here, I would like to redirect the user to the register page. So click here to just go to the registration page. So over here I would like to have registration .php file name, and the text will be changed from login to register. Great. So now let me save it. When I just do that, we are all set with our registration functionality, but we need to do one thing more. At the end of our if statement over here, which you can see, our first if statement, I would like to have this else code which close curly braces will be closed after my form tag ends. So I would like to start my PHP tag over here and close it over here, and then I would like to close my PHP syntax. That's it. You are all set for registering the user into the database. So now our code for registering the user in our database is completed. Now we are going to be working with our login functionality with PHP and MySQL. So if you're watching it till now, if you're understanding the code, so please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. For more and more amazing interesting videos, I will be bringing it up soon next week. Great. So I will be right back. Okay, great. So now for creating the login page, just open your sidebar, create a new file over here and name that file as login.php. This file is going to be containing all of the code for login form. So I'm just going to close my sidebar and write a basic HTML code template over here and change its title to login. And now I would like to import my CSS file. So link rel, that is going to be style sheet, and the href is going to be inside my CSS folder. I'm having the style.css file. Now let me just create my login forms structure. So I'm going to be having a form which is going to be having a class of form, because I will be using the same CSS file for styling my login form too, and the method is going to be post method. Alright, and now let's provide our form a name that is going to be the login. Now in this form tag, the first thing I would like to have a heading for my login form, which is going to be having a class of login hyphen title, and I would like to display over here that is going to be login form. And after this heading, I would like to have my login inputs, which is going to be having a type of text, class is going to be login hyphen input, and the name is going to be username, and now I would like to have a placeholder that is going to be username. Let me create my second input for entering the password, which is going to be having an input. Type is going to be password, class is going to be login hyphen input, and the name is going to be password. Now let me enter a placeholder that is going to be password. Simple, related to our input. Awesome. After that, I would like to have a submit button. So let me create an input over here, or other than creating this input again and again, I will be coming to my registration form, copy this submit button's input and my paragraph from here, come to my login PHP file and paste it over here directly, and change the value from register to login. Great. And this is the paragraph which is displaying us already have an account. Other than displaying this, I would like to say over here, if you don't have an account, you can just register. So if you don't have an account, just click on this register anchor tag over here. That will redirect the user to the registration.php file or a page. Registration, yes, I'm right. Great. So we are all set with our login page. So now if I just open my browser screen over here and change my URL from registration to login, it should display us a login form. And as you can see, our login form is displaying over here with the same styling that we have provided to our registration form, and that looks really amazing and beautiful. Great. So now let's start writing the PHP code for adding the functionality for logging in the user with the registration details. Yes guys, it's going to be really amazing, and this is going to be the best tutorial in YouTube with full explanation, and everything will be explained to you in a single video. Yes guys, so do not forget to smash that like button and make it blue. Great. So now let's write the functionality for our PHP login form. So I'm just gonna be writing my PHP starting syntax and closing syntax over here. Great. Alright guys. So in this PHP code, first of all that we're going to be requiring over here is going to be our database.php file for our connectivity. So let's require it over here. db.php. Great. And then I would like to start my session over here to get to know whether the user's account is created or not. Am I right guys? Yes. So now we are going to be writing a code for when the form was submitted, we are just going to check and create a user session. So we're going to say if is set $_ post square bracket single quotes username is set. I would like to execute this code, in which we are just going to be removing these strip slashes from our input value and just add our real escape strings to our user's input value. So first is going to be our username that equals to strip slashes $_ request square bracket single quotes and the input's name, that was username. Same thing I will be continuing it with my password, but before that let me just strip the slashes from this input's value. MySQL real escape string, which is going to be having this connect variable in it to connect to my database and enter this value in it. Let's continue the same thing with my password. So I'm just gonna copy the same code and paste it over here for saving our time, and change its names to password. And I'm just gonna change it wherever I am using my username for my password, removing the strip slashes and adding the real escape string. Am I right guys? Yes. After doing this stuff, we are just gonna check whether the user exists in our database or not. So for doing that, I'm just gonna create a query variable in which I will be having my SQL query, which is gonna say select which is going to be having this star. That means select all from the table name, that is users. Select all the data from my users table where username that equals to a single quotes in which I will be having my username variable and password that equals to my password variable, which is having my passwords inputs value. Great. And after that, I'm just going to end it with a semicolon. After running this query, I will be having a result variable that equals to, I'll be having my SQLi underscore query method in it, which is going to connect to my database and run this query. And if the user's data is there inside my registration form, this query will be running. If not, I'm just going to be having this or die method in it, in which I would like to have my MySQL underscore error method to display that error to the user. Great. And now to make or redirect the user after login successfully, we are going to be having a rows variable. In this rows variable, I will be having equal to MySQLi underscore num underscore rows. That's gonna check how many rows are there in our database or not. And in this, I'm just gonna have this result variable inserted. So now I will be having if my $rows is double equals to 1. That means if the user's login details, that means if the user have created his account with the login details, then you need to redirect the user to the dashboard page, which is not yet created now, but we are going to be creating it soon. Alright, so I'll be having this session, square brackets, single quotes, in which I'll be having a username selected over here. Okay, that equals to $username. If my username that is there in my database is matching to the username that the user have entered in my login's input, I will redirect the user to the dashboard page. So let's use the header method over here and set up location over here, that is going to be to the dashboard.php file. Great. Else, if the user's account is not created with this login details, I would like to echo something over here. So for doing that echo, I would like to come to my registration form over here, copy this echo statement and paste it over here in this else statement over here. So I will change this h3 tag from you are registered successfully to incorrect username / password. Now the paragraph which is having a class of link, I would like to display over here. Click here to login. Again, yeah, so I'm just going to keep it same. We are all set with our else statement. So now at the end of our main if statement, I will be having this else tag, which close curly braces will be closed after our ends form tag. So I'll be having my PHP syntax over here, and I'm just going to close my curly braces over here. That's it. It's that simple. So guys, we are all set with our login forms functionality. Are we? Yes. So now what we need to do over here is that we need to create a dashboard page to display the users after the user have logged in successfully. Am I right, guys? Yes. So for doing that, create a new file. Name this file as dashboard.php. Alright. In this, you need to write the basic syntax for PHP. And in this, you need to include auth_session.php file. So why we are including this file over here, I will explain to you. So after you have included this file, you are all set. So what is this auth_session.php file doing over here? It's going to get the details from the database that we need to display it in our dashboard page. That's it in simple words. Now you need to write a basic HTML template code over here. You can just change the title over here to the dashboard page, and even you can add the CSS file if you need. So I'll be adding some CSS file over here. That's going to be my same CSS file. And now what I would like to display over here, I'll be having a div with the class of form. In this div, I'll be having a paragraph tag which is going to display hello with the username. So we are going to be having our PHP code. In this PHP code, I would like to echo $_session square brackets. In this, I would like to echo the user's name value and end it with a semicolon. It's that simple and amazing. Is it? Yes. And then I'm just going to close my paragraph tag. After that, I would like to be having another paragraph tag which will display that you are now in dashboard page, and I'm just going to close this paragraph tag also. Now let me create a paragraph tag which is going to be having an anchor tag in it, which is going to be for our logout functionality. So let me create a logout PHP file over here, and a text that is going to be logout. That means when the user clicks on this logout text, the user will be redirected to this logout.php, and there the functions for the PHP will run and the users will be logged out successfully from their logged in account. Am I right, guys? So for doing that, you need to just create a logout.php file. So after completing the dashboard page and adding the logout functionality, so for adding the logout functionality, create a new file and name that file as logout.php. What you need to do over here is that you need to write the basic PHP syntax over here, and you need to start your session, and after that you're gonna say if my session underscore destroy method over here is true. That means when the user clicks over here, we are calling our logout page, and what it's going to do is going to set our session destroy to true and then redirect the user to the login page back again. Awesome. So now let me end it with a semicolon in easy words. Great. So that's it on how to create a login and registration form with PHP and MySQL. So what is happening in this logout? When the user clicks on the logout button, we are opening this file, and this file is setting our session destroy to true, and then it is redirecting to login page. That's it. So let's test whether our login and registration functionality is working fine or not. Great. So for testing it, let me just open my Chrome file over here, and let me just refresh it and come to my registration form by clicking on this register here button. So now if I just open my database and refresh it out over here and click on my users tables, there's no data over here. Am I right, guys? Yes. So let me enter my username over here. That is going to be easy to code. Email address is going to be programmer786@gmail.com. Password I'm just going to enter, that is also going to be programmer. Now when I do click on this register button, it is saying me that the required fields are missing. That means we have done something wrong in our code. Am I right, guys? So let's see what's that in our registration form. Let me just open my code editor over here and come to my registration.php file, and else just echo this class where this is fields are missing. Let me just check it out over here. So everything is right, guys. So let me just even test it once again. Let me just come back to the registration form, refresh it once again, come to my database, refresh it. Okay, there's no user over here. Let me enter the details back again. Let me go with another details like Bobby. You can just enter the same details you like, and the email address I'm just going to enter, that is going to be testing@easytogod.com. Password is going to be programmer. Now let me just click on register over here. Still it is displaying me this error, that is required fields are missing. So for fixing this, let's see our code editor. Let me just check it out over here. So guys, I got the error that I was getting over here is that this create end time was there inside a single quotes, but my last single quotes was not there. So I've just added this single quotes and test my project, and now it's working fine. Yes guys, it was not there and now I have added it out. Yes guys, okay, great. So now let me test it out again. By coming to my registration page, I'm having one user already registered, so you can just ignore it. It was just for testing what was the error in my code. So now let me enter the username differently as simple user. Email address is going to be like user@gmail.com, and now if I enter the password over here named as programmer simple, and now when I just click on this register button, it is displaying me alert that is saying you are registered successfully. Now when you just click on this login, you will be redirected to the login page. If you open your database over here and refresh it, you can see the second user with the name, email and password, and when the user have created his account, date and time is being displayed over here. That is amazing. So now let me just log in the user with the different details, like that the account is not created with. Username is programmer and the password is programmer, for an example. And now when I just click on this login, it is saying me that there's an incorrect username and password. Just click back over here to login back again. So now let me enter my correct details. That is, username is user and the password is programmer. Now when I just enter the correct details and click on this login, it is saying hello user, that means my user's name. You are now in the dashboard page. Am I right, guys? Yes. And now from logging out from your created account login details, you can just click over here in this logout anchor tag and it will redirect you back to the login form, and you are now successfully logged out from your login, that means your profile account. Great. So now if I just enter the same username that you have registered with, and if I just enter a wrong password over here like coding, and if I just click on this login, it is saying me there's incorrect username or password, and that means you have entered a wrong details in which the account is not created with. And if you want to create your account, you can click back over here and you can just enter the details for creating your account. That's it, guys. It is that simple. So this is how you create a login and registration and logout functionality with PHP and MySQL in simple ways. It is a big tutorial, but it is really amazing tutorial. You will understand how this functionality works with PHP and MySQL, and the source code will be provided in my GitHub repo and the link will be provided in the description below. If till now you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.